Welcome back to Code Snippets. Today we're looking back at the car class that we created from the classes and objects video because we're going to create a toString method. So let's right click. I'm going to go to source, and then here there's a line that says generate toString. So we're going to click that, and now we get another one of these pop-up menus. So before we do anything with this, let's clarify what a toString method does. Whenever we say System.out.println and then put something in those parentheses, it's actually calling the toString method. Let's not hit generate, and let's go to our driver, and I'm going to comment all this out for just a second. And let's say sysout my car. Now let's see what happens. If I run this, we just get some nonsense. We get the name of the class, and then we get that it's a car, and then at a bunch of numbers and letters. So what's going on here? This is actually just a memory address. So it represents some space on your computer's hard drive or RAM or wherever this is being stored that just says, hey, the object is found at this location. But that's not helpful to us. So let's fix that. This is where the toString comes into play. So let's go back there, source, generate toString, and now all of these boxes represent what information is going to be printed out when we call System.out.println. So let's say we only want to know the make, the model, and the year, and we don't care, and we'll say the mileage as well, but we don't care about anything else. So we're just going to leave make, model, year, and the mileage. Those are all going to stay checked. Now we're going to generate. And as you can see, we've generated this toString method. So public, it returns a string. It doesn't take any parameters. And it returns all of this information. So it tells you it's a car. It tells you the make, gives you the model, the year, and the mileage, which is exactly what we told it to do. So now let's go back to this class and let's rerun this. So now it actually gives us very, very helpful information. So it formats it nicely, puts it inside these brackets, separates it by commas. It looks very nice. But we can also still modify it further. If you don't like this style, you can change this string in whatever way you want. Now I wanted to point this out. So we have our pop-up menu of all the fields that we want to display in our toString, but as you can see, we only get the single type that's listed in the class itself. So this is our trailer type. We also have something called inherited fields. And if we open that up, now here's all the fields that are in the automobile class. So we want the year, make, model, color, and the mileage. And then we can hit generate, and there's our toString. So we've done that for truck, motorcycle, car, and our one for automobile. So if we go back to our driver, now instead of printing out a.make, a.model, going and printing out whether it has a sunroof, we can just remove all of this. And let's see what happens if we say sysout a. So now it prints out the fact that it has a sunroof, make, model, year, color, the mileage, and then for the motorcycle, it prints out that it has a sidecar, year, make, model, color, mileage. Even though we have a list of automobiles, it's still calling the specific toStrings of car and motorcycle. So that's another part of polymorphism, which is something we touched on in the last video. So one key thing to remember is because we're talking about objects and not the class itself, so just think about when we went over the static keyword, when we were talking about calling the class versus calling objects. Because we have a list of objects and we're calling sysout on the object, it's going to be as specific as it can. So it's going to try to call these specific methods. And that's why it doesn't call the automobile toString. It calls the car, motorcycle, and truck toString. So that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.